During the Warring States period in ancient China, there was an old man who loved horses deeply and owned many of them. One day, while he was herding his horses in the grasslands, he returned home in the evening to discover that one of his horses was missing. Days passed, and no matter how hard he searched, the horse was nowhere to be found. When the neighbors heard about his loss, they came to comfort him. The old man thanked them for their concern, smiled, and said calmly, "Losing a horse isn't such a big deal. Who knows, it might even bring me good fortune." The neighbors found his words amusing and thought he was simply being optimistic. However, a few days later, the missing horse returned, and to everyone's surprise, it brought along another magnificent horse. The neighbors rushed to congratulate the old man, exclaiming, "What incredible luck! You've gained such a fine horse." But instead of being overjoyed, the old man appeared worried and remarked, "Gaining a fine horse for free might not be as lucky as it seems. It could lead to unforeseen troubles." The old man's son was particularly fond of the new horse. He rode it every day, reveling in its speed and grace. But one day, an accident occurred. He fell from the horse and broke his leg. Once again, the neighbors came to console the old man. The old man, unfazed, expressed his gratitude for their kindness and said, "Breaking a leg is not the worst thing. In fact, it might turn out to be a blessing in disguise." This time, the neighbors thought his words were even more nonsensical. Not long after, a war broke out. The young men in the village were drafted to fight, and many lost their lives on the battlefield. However, the old man's son, unable to serve due to his broken leg, was spared from the horrors of war and survived. The moral of the story. This cyclical and dramatic tale highlights the intertwined relationship between fortune and misfortune. It vividly illustrates the principle that good fortune can lead to bad outcomes, while misfortune can pave the way for blessings. From a philosophical perspective, this story reflects the universal principle of contradiction, encouraging us to adopt a dialectical and forward-looking view of life. In adversity, we should not despair. In prosperity, we should not become complacent. Under certain conditions, good and bad events can transform into one another. Bad situations can turn into opportunities, and favorable circumstances can lead to challenges. These changes are infinite and profound, revealing truths that are deep and boundless. The world is a unified whole, where everything is interconnected. Fortune and misfortune do not exist in isolation, but are linked by objective relationships. This story teaches us to maintain a balanced mindset, regardless of whether we encounter success or hardship. By transcending the limits of time and space, we can observe the potential extremes of change. In this way, whether fortune turns into misfortune or misfortune into fortune, we can face these transformations with resilience and wisdom.